So fun little synchronicity bits. Was looking at Roget's International Thesaurus, an older version, and it's just a lot of fun. So I looked up mankind and see that it's, correlating to clay, that it is frail or fallen humanity. Single, separate person, Whitman. It'd be interesting to see how he would evolve with the current understandings. Symbol using animal, a god in ruins, Emerson. Personal synchronicity for me, having Whittier on top of a Shakespeare. So that got me, I was looking up a word back here, and I was like, oh, zygot's the last word, and that means that has a lot of synchronicity within itself. So I was like, well, let's see what the first word is, and it's Aardvark, and well, that's pretty interesting. Let's see if there's anything to it. So the Aardvark, it's native to Africa. It's the only living species of the order of Tubu. I'm gonna shorten words so I don't butcher it, but you can read along. It has a long snout similar to that of a pig. Also referred to as the African ant bear or Cape anteater, after the Cape of Good Hope. Means earth pig or ground pig. Arde, earth, vark, pig, or young pig, a child. This tribe will use the aardvark teeth to make bracelets, which are regarded as good luck charms. The meat, which has resemblance to pork, makes me think to the traditions in some religions, is eaten in certain cultures. In the mythology of the Dagbon people of Ghana, the aardvark is believed to possess superpowers. They believe the animal can transfigure and interact with humans. Ancient Egyptian god Set is usually depicted with the head of an unidentified animal whose similarity to an aardvark has been noted in scholarship. With the tribe, they are also held, women are held high in regard, and children fear the displeasure and wrath of the mother. Brothers protect the dignity of sisters at all costs. It reminds me of the Native American tribes cultures. They also are one of the few peoples in Africa to have female chiefs who possess regal lands and rule over male subjects. There are many soothsayers, or Bea, whom people consult for prophecies and solutions to their problems. The inheritance of many soothsaying is thought through the maternal brother. Many Christian evangelical groups have launched failed campaigns to convert them. However, they continue practicing its traditional religion and Islam. The arrival of Islam to their culture brought prosperity, while as Christianity was brought by Europeans who burnt their cities and displaced its people. Today, they have provided free lands to many Christian missionaries to undertake their activities. While Islamic schools do not mandate students to worship or visit mosques, Christian schools make worship compulsory for all students, even the members of their traditional religion, of the traditional religion and Islam. In ancient Egypt art, the set animal or Shah, totemet, I can't say the word, animal of the god Set, identified Greek monster Typhon or Typhoon. Khnum or Cum, ancient Egyptian, responsible for regulating the annual induction of the river, emanating from the caverns of the Hapi, the deity embodying the flood, since the annual flooding of the Nile brought with it silt and clay, and its waters brought life to the surroundings. He eventually became known as the creator of the human bodies and life force Ka. Using the potter's wheel and clay, he fashioned these entities and placed them within their mother's womb. Often his creative endeavors were overseen by another god. He was later described as having molded or molder the other deities. He was revered as the creator of the animal kingdom, associated with Aries, I believe. When Set was depicted as a human with only a head of a Set animal, he usually had a long, slightly curved nose and erect ears, squared at the tops. Occasionally, he was represented in animal form as the Shah itself, with a long, downturned snout, squared ears, erect forked tail, and a canine-like body. Although he was also depicted in a form of a nagar, or a black pig, other animals sacred to Set include the antelope, hippopotamus, wild boar, crocodile, and scorpion, all of which represent strength, power, protection, or wildness. The Shah was also used as a determinative name for the names for Set and the goddess Nut. Both the Second Dynasty pharaohs, Per and Kaz, whose Sharaks depict the Shah, identified themselves as divine manifestations of Set on earth, as previous kings had identified themselves with Horus during the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Horus and Set were generally viewed as twin supporters and defenders of the god Ra, head of the Egyptian pantheon, and they were often depicted anointing the king as the divine source of his authority. The association of Horus and Set probably reflected the reconciliation of the struggle between the two royal cults. Following the unification of Egypt, Narmer and the kings of the First Dynasty embraced the worship of Horus by adopting the Horus name as part of their official nomenclature. This name identifies the king as the god's representative on earth. Seth Person, or it makes me think of Presbyterian, however, choose a Set name in place of a Horus name, while the Kaz name, royal title, invoked both the great gods, presumably in an attempt to reconcile the followers of each cult. Although Set was originally viewed as the son and defender of Ra and the Egyptian kings, his reputation among the people declined with the rise of Osiris. Worship of the Osiris cult stressed the role of Set as the violence personified, the murderer of his brother and usurper of his throne, who instead of standing alongside Horus became his eternal enemy. During the Third Intermediate Period, however, Set was deeply unpopular. His worship was abandoned and many depictions of him were destroyed or defaced. Reference to and depictions of the Set animal must have suffered a similar fate. Also, the Jekyll and the sulky, ox, donkey, fennec fox, camel, elephant, shrew, aardvark, giraffe, pig, elephant, snoutfish. Some of the suggested animals would be known to ancient Egyptians, but rarely or never seen. And that's not necessary. I mean, there's a lot of plausible information that they did see that somehow or another. But so here's just information on Set. And then so I, looking into the other word that we want to look into, it's just, all roads lead to where? And so everything seems to always come back to the same common. Again, Alzheimer's, forgetting, MTDNA, DNA in general. So it's interesting when you look at this information that The MTDNA is actually from between right under the head of the sperm, and when the sperm breaks through, it actually breaks off at the head. And so that's why you carry on the MTDNA, which is what houses and makes everything combine. So, but the MTDNA leaves from the sperm. Just more information. And we'll just call it tot, is the ability for all things. It is the ability of a single cell to divide and produce all of the different cells in an organism. A fully differentiated cell can return to a state of tot. The conversion to tot is complex and not fully understood. Approximately 4 days after fertilization and after several cycles of cell division, these tot cells begin to specialize. The inner cell mass and source of the embryonic stem cells become pluripotent. Research suggests that multiple mechanisms, including RNA regulation, may play a role in maintaining tot at different stages of development in some species. Work with zebrafish and mammals suggests a further interplay between mRNA and RNA binding proteins in determining development differences. Cell potency is a cell's ability to tell the types into two. The more cell types a cell can differentiate into, the greater its potency. Potency is also described as the gene activation potential within a cell.